watching Entertainment Tonight's Dynasty, the real drama.
Heather Locklear was just 19 when she was cast as the vixen Sammy Jo, and she soon became a rock and roll wife, and her own life began to imitate the drama on screen.
I think I'm just like the little girl next door or something.
That's how it started, as Sammy Jo, the innocent, fresh-faced niece of Crystal Carrington. But Heather wanted a bit less innocence.
I'd like her to be a little more bitchy.
Soon, Sammy Jo was doing some serious bed hopping. But she got married, and in true soap style, her husband was gay. And things just didn't work out.
Please, just leave me alone. Once and for all, leave me alone.
That was impossible. While doing Dynasty, she also starred in T.J. Hooker and had become a hot commodity.
Sophomore year of high school, I was nominated for one of those princesses, you know, and I guess there's 4 nominees, and I was shocked that I was nominated. I didn't think anyone knew me. I didn't know why they nominated me. I had crooked teeth.
Soon, everyone was noticing. E.T. caught Heather at a swimsuit shoot and doing a commercial for a health club chain. She was becoming America's TV sweetheart, and in 1983, we wanted to know about her sweetheart.
Do you even have time to date? Or, do any of those sort of...
Oh, no, I have a boyfriend, so I don't date.
Oh, you do have a boyfriend?
Yes.
Is he part of what kind of keeps you steady in all of this?
Yes, I'd say so.
Is he in the business? Can you say who it is?
No.
In 1984, we caught Heather at the Emmys with boyfriend Scott Baio. In 1986, she married heavy metal drummer Tommy Lee. They divorced after 8 years, with Heather citing irreconcilable differences. She received most of their property, giving Tommy about $500,000 in return. In 1994, she married another rocker, Bon Jovi's Richie Sambora. They have a daughter, 2-year-old Ava, and Heather's happiness is obvious.
Oh, she's so cute.
Yeah.
And she's just getting a personality, and it's an amazing day every day with her.
When her road to stardom began, she was a college girl studying psychology.
I was going to UCLA. I had been there. No, actually, I was just starting, and someone had suggested I go to a commercial workshop.
An agent saw her and asked one question.
Can you roller skate? Because I guess roller skating was a big thing in commercials at that time.
When Dynasty ended, her career was up and down. She made the sci-fi spoof The Return of Swamp Thing, starred in Going Places, a short-lived sitcom, and did a series of TV movies. But then Aaron Spelling chose her to bolster the ratings of his then-fledgling Melrose Place. This was her first day on the set.
So she came in for 4 episodes and stayed for 7 years. So that's my Heather. She's my good luck penny.
Credited with saving the show, she was unfazed when its run was over.
I think it was time for it to go to bed. Yeah. And I wore out my welcome as a guest star.
Before we could miss her, she was back, showing us on Spin City that a drama queen can be pretty funny. She's been a star for nearly 20 years and says her daughter can try it too.
I would say 18 and on, she can, if she'd like to. That didn't hurt me.
The Dynasty set was a revolving door with new actors arriving and some departing each season. From real-life royalty to stars who have packed up and left Hollywood, many of the cast have personal stories that resemble real-life soap operas.
I was at Princess Diana's wedding when I was 18, and Prince Andrew asked me to marry him.
Catherine Oxenberg, who played Joan Collins' daughter Amanda on the show, is really the daughter of a Yugoslavian princess. Her mother is second cousin to Prince Charles, but being a royal wife wasn't in her blood, so she said no to Andrew.
I said I wanted to act.
And act she did on Dynasty. After the show ended, she actually played Princess Di in a TV movie. Her mother was worried and called Prince Charles to tell him.
He said, well, you know what? They're going to do it anyway. At least she can bring dignity to the role. And I thought that was a really gracious response.
She did meet her own Prince Charming. She's married to actor Casper Van Dien.
This is a committed relationship with a man that I'm deeply in love with.
Surprise, lady, you don't have anyone. Every week it was something cool to do. I mean, oh, in the hot tub again with Joan? Gee, tough job.
Michael Nader was Joan Collins' husband Dex on the show. He went on to great success on All My Children as Susan Lucci's husband Dimitri. But life after Dynasty wasn't all rosy. He was stopped by police in 1997 and charged with drunk driving.
And I ended up with like 22 stitches, contusion of the ribs. And they admitted that they'd never put me under arrest. They'd never read me my rights. They just took me down.
Michael says he took a reduced sentence and performed community service. For now, he has left all my children behind.
You don't need me to make you look bad, Stephen. You're doing a wonderful job all by yourself.
Gordon Thompson was Adam Carrington on the show and has worked for producer Aaron Spelling again on Sunset Beach. But he realized how big Dynasty was on a trip to Norway in the 80s.
I felt like Mick Jagger for about 20 seconds because they just went nuts.
Jack Coleman, who played Gordon's brother Stephen Carrington, recently became a father and coincidentally stars in the Lifetime series Oh Baby.
Men are always thinking about sex, always.
I'd like to get a job. How's that, Doctor?
Pamela Bellwood played Claudia on the show. She's been raising a family, but now has some irons in the fire.
Well, I'm raising 2 terrific kids, and I'm producing a movie that will be shot in China.
You're willing to throw away everything
I am? What about you? John James was Jeff Colby, and on a trip to Nigeria during the show's heyday, found that Dynasty fans are everywhere.
I'm wondering why all these people are out there. Because we had to walk across the tarmac to get to the plane. And they were all screaming Jeff Colby. Nigeria at 3 in the morning.
John has taken a sabbatical from acting, spending the last 10 years on a farm with his family. But now he's back in action.
This last year I've shot 3 independent films, appeared on a couple of TV shows.
Diahann Carroll says it was her idea to integrate the show with an African-American woman. Since that time, she's continued to work, but had a shock last year when she was diagnosed with breast cancer. She talked about it with Jan Carroll.
People look at you differently.
Really? How so?
Oh, yeah. And I thought, let me go and let me say that it's not like that at all.
Yeah.
If you take care of yourself, it isn't that way at all.
Yeah.
I feel great.
I don't even know if we have a relationship anymore.
Emma Sams was Blake's daughter Fallon on the series. She and John James left the show to do the spin-off The Colbys. Since then, she's moved back to her native England, and she's decided to try her hand at writing.
My first script was made into a film, I'm pleased to say. I've just finished my second script. And I'm also working on a children's book.
But she'll never forget those days on Dynasty.
It was a dream job to have. It was fun, and it was exciting, and even getting up and having to be at work at 5:30 in the morning, it was an absolute pleasure, every minute of it.
Coming up on Dynasty, the real drama.
Linda Evans, why she walked out on Hollywood and her love affair with a younger man.
Just called him up. Never done that before with anybody.
Her infamous kiss with Rock Hudson, who hid his struggle with AIDS.
The scare was so strong. There was some scare with Linda Evans having to be tested.
That's next. Welcome back to Entertainment Tonight's Dynasty, the real drama.
Dynasty's last episode was the ultimate cliffhanger. Joan Collins was pushed off a balcony, Linda Evans was in a coma, and John Forsythe was shot. When the show was abruptly canceled, angry fans demanded to know what happened to their characters. A few years later, they got their answer.
Well, it's exciting to be back. It's class reunion time. You know, you're always curious to see in 2 or 3 years' time whether people have changed or not. They've not changed. They're as bad a bunch as ever.
Indeed they were. In 1991, Dynasty's producers decided to tie up the loose ends with a 4-hour miniseries. The show was canceled unexpectedly in May of '89, leaving fans in the dark about the many up-in-the-air endings. After nearly 2.5 years away, most of the cast and original crew got together, and it felt like old times.
My first day on the set was with Joan, and it was beautiful settings, just like Dynasty, beautiful clothes, everyone looked great, and the crew was just saying it's like we just took a 2-month hiatus.
The fans, however, didn't feel like it was 2 months. Thousands of letters of hate mail were sent to the show's producers and cast, demanding to know what happened to their favorite characters. The actors felt like the viewers deserved a finale.
I thought it was very unfair to end the series with fans, with everybody up in the air.
I think that Dynasty and ABC and Aaron Spelling Productions owed it to the public to finish off the story at least.
It didn't take much to convince the actors to reprise their roles. After close to 9 years on the air, almost everyone jumped at the chance to come back.
I didn't have hesitancy, no. I thought if they wanted me, obviously, if they wanted me to do it, I was going to do it. I started with the show. I might as well finish it up the right way.
But it was a strong bond with their fans and the feeling that they owed it to them that brought the Dynasty cast back together.
That's the thing, I think, that made all of us want to come back and do this, is we had such a loyal, great audience who got so involved in our lives. They deserved an end that wasn't so crazy.
Linda Evans was 38 years old when she started playing Crystal Carrington, and she proved that mature women can be very sexy. Women loved her look, and they copied her hairstyle. But after the show ended, Linda had had enough of Hollywood, and she simply walked away.
I didn't leave Dynasty to work. I left Dynasty to have a life.
Linda Evans told us that she was more than ready to move on after 9 seasons playing the devoted and loving wife of tycoon Blake Carrington.
I'm losing her.
And in many ways, she was a lot like her character.
Linda is a very sort of, spiritual, ethereal presence, and she was, that's what she was like on the set.
But when the hit show came to an end, Linda said goodbye to Hollywood and has rarely looked back. She packed her bags and moved to the Pacific Northwest, giving up the glamorous life with no regrets.
I wanted to be around some real people, and I wanted to not have to live up to any ideal of anything, and just kind of remember what being a real person was like.
The now 57-year-old hadn't really planned on being an actress. Tragedy and fate intervened.
My dad died when I was 15, and then I was discovered the same year, and we didn't have a lot of money. It was just such a perfect thing to help my mom out and my family. And it just kept happening. I kept thinking, why don't they know I don't know what I'm doing?
Commercials and small film and TV roles followed, including a guest shot on Bachelor Father opposite her future TV husband. At 23, Linda had her first real brush with fame. The young blonde beauty was cast in the TV western The Big Valley, starring Hollywood veteran Barbara Stanwyck. It was during the series' 4-year run that Linda met the man she would ultimately marry, John Derek.
He was my first love, and it was an amazing 9 years with him.
The marriage lasted just 6 years, but Linda maintained a close relationship with John and his new wife, Bo. Linda was among the mourners when John died in May of 1998 and still choked up when talking about him a year later.
Just a second. You don't expect that to happen, right? We both went on in our lives, and yet there was a sweetness between us and a friendship between us, and he was a very unique man.
Linda had a brief second marriage to a real estate executive that didn't last. She formed close ties with controversial New Age guru J.Z. Knight, who claimed to channel the spirit of the 35,000-year-old warrior Ramtha. But in 1988, she met a man 12 years her junior, who she describes as the second love of her life, New Age musician Yanni. And in '88, a clearly smitten Linda revealed to E.T. how the two first got together.
Just called him up. Never done that before with anybody. I had no idea what he was like at all. So actually, as it ends up that we're in love, it's a complete surprise to me. I never, ever expected that to happen.
But after 10 years of togetherness, the couple decided to go their separate ways. Now Linda's on her own once again.
I believe in love, and I'm open to it. And the thing is, I'm just not going to ever settle.
Coming up on Entertainment Tonight's Dynasty, the real drama.
E.T. was there the day Linda Evans and Rock Hudson shared their famous kiss.
Is this the first kiss scene?
Yeah. He was hiding his AIDS battle from the world, his painful last days, and what happened after his secret got out.
In those days, no one knew a damn thing about AIDS, and it was panic time.
That's next.
Which singer earned an Oscar nomination for her first film role? Was it Cher, Diana Ross, or Whitney Houston? Your answer is coming up in the Entertainment Tonight Weekend Birthdays.